Sukhoi everyone, this is Darth Judikar coming at you with a short verses series. I am using a new video making program, so I wanted to make a short video to test things out and see how it goes. So yeah, this is going to be a little shorter than my usual verses series, so without much further ado, let us begin. Ima-Gun versus Vindican. Ima-Gun was a Kaijansa Nikto of an advanced age, possibly in his 40s or 50s. His physical endurance was considerable since he was able to survive an extended battle against the separatist droid armies while he was giving the Twi'lek rebels a chance to escape. On the other hand, his capabilities and strength are not as well documented, but likely are considerable given his Nikto heritage. In terms of equipment, Dai used a simple standard lightsaber that was common to the Jedi of his era. So honestly, it had really nothing to write home about. It had a standard blue lightsaber crystal, and it was pretty much unremarkable except for the fact that it was something that Dai was more familiar with. All in all, Ima-Gun was a strong combatant and had skill in both physical endurance and potentially in strength, based off of his species. Vindican was a male Sith pureblood who was in remarkable shape when you consider the immersion in the dark side that he would have had to undergo. He was able to take several blows in his battle against Satele Shan and Kaos and Darach, and in the end he was only actually bested when Darach activated the second blade on his saber staff that he had gotten from Satele Shan. In terms of lightsaber and equipment, Vindican had a saber staff that was fairly standard for his era that sported a red synthetic crystal. In the end, in terms of physical ability, there was very little to set Vindican apart from other Sith lords of his era, and his being a Sith pureblood really did not afford him any advantages in this category. In terms of physical abilities, this is an easy call to make. While it is true that Vindican has some skills and physical abilities, he is outclassed by the battle-hardened Nikto Ima-Gun. In contrast, however, Vindican does have an advantage in this. He has the superior lightsaber in terms of equipment. Ima-Gun gains the advantage in terms of physical ability, and Vindican gains the advantage in terms of equipment. As he was not actually shown in a lightsaber duel, it is very hard to gauge exactly what Ima-Gun's combat form was. That being said, I think I can make an educated guess based off of what material we do have on hand. Based off of his deflection of blaster bolts and the fact that he could hold off an entire army of battle droids for a time, I believe that his chosen form of combat was the third form Sarisu. The third form of lightsaber combat, Sarisu, was a defensive form that specialized in deflection of blaster bolts and lightsaber attacks. Specialists in this form, like Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Sana, were capable of holding their own against some of the more dangerous power duelists of their respective eras. So it is entirely possible that Dai was capable of doing the same thing, but this was never shown. All in all, while Ima-Gun was not shown in a proper lightsaber duel, he was probably capable of holding his own in one, and he should not be discounted as such. Like Dai, Vindican's lightsaber combat form has not been confirmed in any source. But again, based off of his fight with Satele Shan and Darth, I believe I can determine his form based on an educated guess. More than likely, his primary form was Form 7 Juyo, the most aggressive form of lightsaber combat. It specialized in fast, hard strikes and had very little in terms of defensive capabilities. And on top of that, he was capable of including acrobatic attacks in his strikes, which suggests that he was a user of Ataru, the fourth form of lightsaber combat as well. Ataru specialized in using fast-paced strikes by using acrobatics as well as every part of the user's body to attack. However, this usually left them exhausted and was not a good form to use in an extended battle, especially if combined with a highly aggressive form like a Juyo. So yeah, Vindican basically had a fast-paced, highly aggressive style that left him with very few defenses, but still was capable of fighting quite effectively when used right. Also, I want to bring something up that I addressed in Darth Malgus. I think that Vindican was also guilty of having tactical tunnel vision, much like his apprentice did. This was most apparent when he was actually defeated by Darth, who used a deactivated lightsaber blade and basically caught him off guard. So yeah, I will be considering this a weakness in his combat form. In terms of lightsaber dueling abilities, this is actually kind of hard to make a call on. Normally, I give the person that has more abilities at their disposal the advantage. However, the truth is that as skilled as Vindican is, I don't know if it would be able to help that much against a Sarisu user like Ima-Gun. Vindican's style is so aggressive and his combat skills more unrefined than someone who uses Sarisu, so honestly I don't think I can give him the advantage this time. Though on the other hand, Dai has not actually ever appeared in a lightsaber duel, so it's unknown if he could actually hold his own in a fight. Ima-Gun gains the advantage in terms of lightsaber dueling based off of his use of Sarisu, but I don't know if this would be able to help him that much, so I would just leave it at that. Ima-Gun had focused primarily on his lightsaber dueling, but he did have a couple of force abilities at his disposal. The only ability he ever actually demonstrated was Force Push, which he used against the droid army during his last stand. Other than that, there really isn't anything else that can be said about his force abilities. Vindican was a Sith Inquisitor capable of using several force abilities, but he only demonstrated a few at the time of his fight with Satele Shan and Darth. In addition to Force Lightning, he also had skill in deflection with telekinesis and probably was capable of using it as well in attack. He at one point used it to deflect a missile fired by Jace Malcolm. Yeah, this probably won't come as much of a surprise. Yeah, Ima-Gun has some force abilities at his disposal, and it's probable that he has more than what we saw, but the problem is we just don't have enough material on him. Vindican, on the other hand, has shown proficiency in the Force, and he was a Sith Inquisitor, which means he had many advantages in terms of Force abilities that Dai would not have had. Vindican gains the advantage in terms of Force abilities. So yeah, you guys know the drill. Now that we have the stats, let's set up the stage. As a location, I have decided that it will take place on Ryloth at the height of the Clone Wars when Dai was there fighting against the Separatists. Dai is preparing his troops for another attack by the Separatists when he gets a message. Several patrols had encountered an individual using a double-bladed lightsaber with a red crystal, and that they were heading for the camp. Concerned that one of the Sith may have joined the fight, Dai makes his way to the area where the mysterious individual had last been seen. In a mountain pass, he runs into Vindican, who is approaching rapidly. Vindican looks at him and draws his lightsaber, igniting the two blades as he does so. Dai barely has any time to react as Vindican charges at him, sending a burst of force lightning as he does so. Thinking quickly, he draws his lightsaber and intercepts the burst of force lightning. Vindican reaches Dai and attempts to strike him with his lightsaber, only to have it intercepted with a block from the Nikto Jedi, pushing Vindican back as he does so. Vindican swings his lightsaber again, starting to get more frustrated as Dai continues to block his attacks. He tries to blast him with another burst of force lightning, catching the Nikto off guard, but he manages to fight his way through it. Vindican charges at Dai, raising his lightsaber above his head, only to have it intercepted again, and then suddenly he is hit square in the chest by force push, knocking him into the rock wall. As Vindican tries to get to his feet, he is surprised to see Dai rushing towards him. The Jedi General raises his lightsaber and brings it down hard on the ancient Sith Lord, and with one stroke, Vindican lays dead at his feet. Dai returns to the Twi'lek camp and continues his preparation for the battle against the Separatist droid army that was approaching at the time. In the end, I declare General Ima-Gun Dai, the Jedi who sacrificed himself for the future of the Twi'lek people, the victor. Well, there you have it, my first Versus series made with my new software. I think it went pretty well, but if you have any thoughts, just let me know. Next time I will be having another Versus series, and we'll be back on the schedule I had originally planned. So I hope you look forward to that. Also, if you have any suggestions for future videos of any kind, just drop me a message on there. So yeah, I will see you guys next time. Bye.